Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, if you're a small business owner, listen to this show because we're going to teach you about fractional HR and why you may need to hire one sooner rather than later. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, this is a classic story. You own a bakery and you're good at baked goods, and then you expand and suddenly you have 2 or 3 locations. You've never been good at HR. You don't want to be good at HR. That's when you bring in a fractional HR firm like my next guest runs, Neil Katz with Exceptional HR Solutions. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks, Jeff. Good to be here.
I want to hear your journey. How did this start for you?
You know, Jeff, this all started 25 years ago when I got into HR, and it's been a great journey. About 10 years ago, I had people reach out and ask me, hey, can you help me with this? Or can you help me with this? And I've always been a supportive person. I want to help first and foremost. And then about 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to go full-time. And the plan was for me to be that full-time fractional HR leader. We fast forward 3 years and we have 20 consultants, over 30 clients, supporting people throughout the United States. It's been great.
Wow. We're going to pull up your website because you've done a great job, and I know you work across industries. Why don't you name some industries that you specialize in?
Sure, Jeff. We're in everything from healthcare to legal to manufacturing to distribution. Any industry that has people, we're there to serve and support them and allow them to get back to what they're good at.
How many times do you run into somebody who says, man, I wish I had met you $100,000 ago? Because business owners can make little mistakes that can add up to a lot of money, can it?
Jeff, number one call is people coming when there's a problem and there's pain. And I always say, we're here to relieve the pain and make it better for you. They call when an employee issue, a challenging situation, or when it's ready for a termination. Whatever it may be, we'll help you in the journey. Our philosophy is very simple. Call us early, call us before it all happens, then it makes it better for us so that we can best support that company. It's harder, a little bit more challenging, hopefully less cost expensive, but we can always support you in any stage of your journey with people.
Sure, and probably much more affordable than having a full-time HR department.
You know, Jeff, what I love telling people is we offer over 150 years of experience on a fractional basis you can afford at the cost of a HR business partner. It's just a great solution with that much experience and knowledge and skill. We can make it. We generally can do most things in half or less of the time it would have taken anybody in your team.
Sure. And he is a very popular guest of podcasts across the country. We're going to show a recent podcast that he was on. Tell us about when you get invited on podcasts, what typically is the topic?
Typically the topic's about fractional HR. The community is still learning what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. I think the journey is just educating them to understand you don't need a full-time person. You can do the work in 5 hours a month or 30 hours a week, but there's no need for a full-time person, and it's trying to understand how fractional, not having somebody on site, can work for your business.
And we're going to pull up his podcast page because you don't have your own show, but you're on a number of different shows. You enjoy it, don't you? You kind of have the heart of a teacher?
I do. And, you know, I love teaching and helping and educating, and I love doing podcasts. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and I can't tell you the last time I told somebody no. I just love being a guest on podcasts and sharing the knowledge and information. And most importantly, I'm hoping the listeners get something from it to make their jobs easier, their experience better, and also to make just some of those challenging moments in their environment a little bit better for them.
You started to tell me a story right before the show started about a distribution company you helped one time.
Yeah, Jeff, we have some great customers, and we've had some great customers. Really, the best experience I'd love to share is this distribution company that really, they invited us in. They had no HR structure. We came in, we built out the entire people structure, and really The most important goal for us was to allow them to get back to what they're good at. And it wasn't building policies, procedures, handbooks, rules, regulations, compliance. It was allow them to be operators, take care of their customers, take care of their employees, celebrate their employees, but not all those other compliance and challenging situations or how to determine which benefits plans you need. That's not for an operations leader. Let us take it for you. We'll do it. We know how to do it. We've done it hundreds, if not thousands of times.
Absolutely. And you work with companies, you specialize in companies from 5 employees all the way up to 500 employees. So if you were a mechanic working on a car, typically you open the hood and you know exactly where to look first. Mm-hmm. In most small businesses, where do you look first?
Always the first thing we're going to look at any business is compliance. Are they compliant to the rules, regulations, and laws at the federal, sometimes state, and sometimes local levels? There are some states out there today that get to be very challenging: California, New York, Illinois, Colorado, and other states that are coming out with individualized state laws and municipalities. And because of that, the first place we always start is we got to make sure you're 100% compliant, and then we move into additional components to support you in the business.
Well, I remember when I was a reporter at Fox 4, we had a yearly kind of coaching session on harassment, and it was mandatory. I mean, you had to be there. Sure. Because I'm sure they're checking a box saying, yes, all of our employees know the rules. Annual things like that, is that important?
Critically important, because what's going to do is it's going to help you mitigate exposure and risk to your company. You got to continue to educate your workforce, inform them, create a great work environment. When you do those things and you educate and teach your team about sexual harassment, about appropriate conduct and behavior in the workplace, you mitigate many of your issues. Because when people learn about what the consequences of those behaviors are, it usually mitigates it. Won't always eliminate it, but it'll mitigate it. And candidly, it helps the organization from a risk exposure standpoint. And that's another important piece, that our job is to help minimize and mitigate risk as much as we possibly can for these companies.
Sure. In the little time we have left, Neil, look into the camera on the left and speak to the CEO who says, man, I think I might need Neil.
My answer to you is call me. Let's have a conversation. Whether you hire me today, tomorrow, next month, next year, we are here to support you. We want to help you on your journey. And the reality is, you didn't start this business to be great at the tactical compliance-related items of people. Let us do that. We'll run the business. We'll take care of your payroll. Whatever your needs are, go back to why you started, and that's usually product or service to take care of your people.
Outstanding. We're going to leave you with his website, which is exceptionalhrsolutions.com. The great Neil Katz. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.